Dear friends, there has been recent talks about the EV, especially for two-wheelers and four-wheelers, where everybody is being bullish about the latest EV development and purchasing the EV for their own use. I consider it to be my duty that with whatever little knowledge I have, to let you know that you're actually saving the money or not. Or if you're an environmental lover, so are you really doing something good to the environment by purchasing an EV? Firstly, we will try to understand about the saving of the environment by way of carbon emission that you would be doing if you buy a two-wheeler or a four-wheeler. When we talk about an EV, the very first thing that comes into our mind is that an electric vehicle is eco-friendly, it creates less pollution, it keeps the environment greener and safer, and most importantly, it is cost-effective. But what if I told you that the EV destroys the environment first and then over a period of time it can actually start saving it? Confusing, isn't it? So to understand this concept, let's have a look at the blog which is written by ZEKE HAUSFATHER, who is a climate scientist and a director at Breakthrough Institute, which is an environmental research think tank. In his article, he has quoted that producing a 75 kilowatt per hour battery for a Tesla Model 3, considered on the larger end of the batteries for electric vehicles, would result in the emission of 4,500 kilograms of CO2 if it was made at Tesla's battery factory in Nevada. That's the emission equivalent to driving a gas-powered sedan for 1.4 years at a yearly average distance of 12,000 miles. Further, he says, if the battery were made in Asia, manufacturing it would produce 7,500 kg of carbon dioxide, or the equivalent of driving a gasoline-powered sedan for 2.4 years. Hausfather said the larger emission amount in Asia can be attributed to its higher carbon electricity mix. The continent relies more on coal for energy production, while Tesla's Nevada factory uses some solar energy. Now when we talk about the battery, most of the import of the battery happens from Asia, that is China, Korea, Japan, and they are largely dependent on electricity generated from coal. India is also dependent on coal for generating electricity, so we need to understand that we are burning a lot of fuel and a lot of carbon is generated even to produce electricity. We all think that if we use electric vehicle, it is saving the environment, but this is a very strong misconception that we have. Electricity is responsible for the destruction of the environment. With this, I would like to tell you that those who are environment lovers should not remain under the impression that buying an EV, they are saving the environment. This could be done only if you are a heavy user of your vehicle. Now let's understand, when do we actually start saving the environment? When we talk about riding the bike for 30,000 kilometers, that means that you're riding the vehicle for 28 kilometers every day, 10,000 kilometers in a year, and at the same time you're discounting your holidays, trips and the non-use days. Then you will be riding the vehicle 10,000 kilometers in a year, and then you would have ridden the vehicle 30,000 kilometers in 3 years. So practically, for the first 3 years, you're not saving the environment, as the emission which has been produced while producing the battery is just covered when you ride the vehicle for 30,000 kilometers. Only after the third year, if your vehicle or the battery lasts more than 3 years or 50,000 kilometers, then you can say that you feel or you have been saving the environment. Now let's talk about the money you are trying to save when you purchase an EV. Most of the branded EVs are sold mostly at 1 to 1.5 lakhs. So let's say if you're spending 2.5 rupees on a kilometer on a petrol bike, then for 30,000 kilometers you're saving 75,000 rupees. So unless you ride 50,000 kilometers, you're not recovering the cost of the vehicle, which means even if you ride the bike 28 kilometers per day on average, then also it would take a minimum 5 years to recover your money, which means it is not so lucrative when you look at it from a cost saving point of view. Also, another thing that we are all aware of is that EV do not have any reselling value and most of them are useless after 3 years. When we talk about the batteries, Most manufacturers give a warranty of 30,000 kilometers. Very few give more than that. Still, there are some savings, but for that savings, what you are compromising is the question that comes in. You're compromising going on long rides, if you're going out of cities for the weekends, and if you're planning to go on a holiday. These things are not possible on an EV. You will need a petrol vehicle for that. Second thing which you're compromising is the flexibility. That you can go anytime, anywhere, to any distance, which at present is not possible in an EV. Because at present, we do not have many charging stations or battery swapping stations available. And especially, it's problematic in those vehicles that have fixed batteries. You need to have charging stations for that. And those charging stations are very limited. So the purpose of my video is to make you educated, to make you aware about the fact that if your use is less, technically you do not save anything. The environment, the society, your future, you're not ever doing any good for your own pocket because you do save some money. But in return, you're compromising on the flexibility, the quality, and the peace of mind. The range anxiety is known to everyone. My point is, EV is largely beneficial for commercially oriented vehicles like tourist cabs, taxis, or delivery vehicles. Also, now that people have been talking about airplanes running on battery, that is also going to make a huge difference because they are going to be useful for them, providing them with long range. Even tourist taxis sometimes approximately run 100,000 kilometers in 1 year. So they do save the money and they do save the environment too. I hope you have understood my point and that you appreciate the knowledge I have been trying to share with you. We'll discuss more about the facts on batteries in our coming videos.